Jimmy Robinson on the sweep, and he's at the 5-3, touchdown!
Down the seam, wide open, touchdown, Rattlers!
Yo, this the IFL, swear the men become heroes in the end. Are you ready for that?
Of Titans as the 13-5 Arizona Rattlers square off against the 10-8 Massachusetts Pirates in the Indoor Football League National Championship. The game, one location, Henderson, Nevada, at the Lee's Family Forum. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joe Pequeno. So glad you can join us on the pregame show. Kickoff is set for 105 on the CBS cable network. In the meantime, the pregame show, we'll be talking to coaches. We'll be talking to the play-by-play announcer for the game, as well as Curtis Riggs, the head coach of the Sioux Falls Storm. We'll have an inside look at the IFL, what's taking place, and of course, we'll have a one-on-one with the commissioner, Todd Tryon. But first, the matchup in this one is a battle of juggernauts. The Arizona Rattlers coming into Henderson, Nevada, a record of 13-5. They got off to a sluggish start, 1-3, battling injuries galore. They also lost their trainer to a season-ending concussion. She was involved in a car accident. They also had health concerns with one of their assistant coaches, Jeff Jarnigan, who had some heart issues. Coach Kevin Guy said it was the most adversity he ever faced in his coaching career. But as the Rattlers got healthy, they stormed down the stretch, winning 12 of their last 14, including a first-round victory at Las Vegas on the final play, and then a dominating home win against the San Diego Strikeforce at the Snake Pit. So the Rattlers looking for their first championship since 2017. And this is a rematch of the 2021 United Bowl, in one in which Massachusetts won at the Snake Pit 37-34. On the other side for Massachusetts, Rod Miller and his team, they got off to a 4-0 start. And then along the way, they battled some injuries and some complacency. They limped down the stretch to an 8-8 record, but when the playoffs came, well, the light bulb came on. They were down in the first round 17 at Frisco, and then all of a sudden, boom, they took it to another level, rallied for the victory, and then in the Eastern Conference Finals, they throttled Green Bay to get here today. Massachusetts, of course, led by their star quarterback, Alejandro Benefield, and their all-IFL first-team running back in Jimmy Robinson. Should be one tremendous matchup. On the other side for the Arizona Rattlers, star power galore. They're led by Dalton Snead, a local boy out of Scottsdale. He won a title last year with the Bay Area Panthers, and now he's looking to bring home a championship for the Arizona Rattlers, and the Rattlers looking for their first championship since 2017. Kevin Guy and Rod Miller, the respective coaches on both sides, will be joining me shortly to give their perspective on today's game. Of course, the build-up, so tremendous. These two teams have met a quality of 4 times, splitting all 4 games 2-2. The Rattlers, of course, losing back in 2021 in the regular season at Massachusetts, and then losing the United Bowl on home turf in overtime. And then the Rattlers save face by winning the next 2 regular season matchups. So these two teams from across the country, 2 different regions, East Coast versus West Coast, now looking for IFL domination. And the location, Henderson, Nevada, which has been home of the IFL National Championship now in its 3rd season. A good crowd is expected for today's matchup. It could be a full house, and rightfully so. The Rattlers down in the Arizona, Phoenix area, they love to travel. The Snake Pit, oh yeah, they come, they bring their energy, and they bring the rally towels. And you can better believe they're going to bring the fun, the excitement. They've got their cheerleaders. They're out in force. Massachusetts, of course, they travel well. Such a great organization led by their co-owner, Jawad Yatim, a team that when they came into the IFL back in 2021, they didn't know what to expect, and all they did that year was win the IFL title, going on the road to Arizona and getting it done. Now it's a neutral site ball game, as both teams looking for their second IFL title and it would be the first time in league history that a team has captured a second IFL title since Sioux Falls went on that incredible run from 2010 to 2016. So much at stake. These two teams have weathered the storm. They have battled, and now here they are. And Rod Miller is right to my left, and we're going to see if we can bring Coach Miller if he's got some time. And Rod, if you could kind of circle your way around the stage. And Rod Miller, the head coach of the Massachusetts Pirates, he was the defensive coordinator last year with Las Vegas and led the Nighthawks to a number 3 total ranking in defense, number 1 in pass defense. And Rod Miller steps on the stage. And Coach, so glad you can join us. Give us kind of a sense of what it's like for you and your team right now.
You know, it's a great feeling. You know, we had an up and down season, and we started strong, kind of hit a low a little bit in the mid-season, but then we started picking up pace again. So we earned our way to this, that's for sure. It wasn't handed to us, so it feels good to be here, and now we're just trying to see if we can finish today.
Coach, you and I talked about this on Media Day. You're down 17 in the first round at Frisco. Your season is literally hanging on a cliff, on the balance. What all of a sudden made that light bulb go on? Because you've been a different team ever since.
You know, reality set in. I told them if we don't do anything better, we're going home. So if you don't want to go home, you need to step up. We have no more time to lose. So they kind of took that to heart. Came out and played their butts off the rest of that game. And going into the next game, we said we do not want to put ourselves in that position. And we had the game against Green Bay. So now we want to come out here and hopefully do the same thing and not put ourselves in a bad position.
Coach, talking to Jimmy Robinson, the all-IFL first-team running back, who I think pound for pound might be the most offensive juggernaut in this league. He told me going into that Green Bay game that the team was so confident that you would win that game. And by the way you dominated from start to finish, it was no contest from the very kick.
Yeah, you know, we put a firm belief that we had to play who we are, understand who we are, and if we played the way we're capable of playing, I didn't think there were many teams that could compete with us. And on that day, I didn't think Green Bay can compete with us if we played the way we're capable of playing in all 3 phases. So the guys took that to heart. We prepared. We watched a lot of film over and over. It got too monotonous at points, but it pays off in the end. So you can never not watch enough film, like I tell them, and that helped us in that game.
So, Coach, now it's the Arizona Rattlers, a squad that's won 12 of the past 14, 5 straight. They're fully healthy. They've picked up their game. Don't Sneed, the offense, they're clicking. Defensively, they've allowed an average of less than 32 points the last 5 games. Your thoughts on the Arizona Rattlers and Coach Kevin Guy?
You know, they're a very good ball club. They got good players. They're taught very well, and they're ready. They're hot as well at the right time. So we know it's going to be a challenge. Every year they're a great team, you know, and they're always picking teams at the right time. So, you know, we're going to be in for a challenge today, and that's what we look forward to, those challenges. And, you know, honestly, if we come out with the victory, that means we've really earned it the old-fashioned way.
And we talk about Jimmy Robinson and how dangerous he is. How important is it to get him going? Because Robinson's such a force. You guys love to run the football. And on the other side, Coach, you're facing a Rattlers defense that's last in the IFL in rushing yards allowed.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. When you got, you know, to me, I feel like I said, the best running back in the league, and I think he could have been an MVP of the league as well. You have to get the ball in his hand. He has to get touches. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You have to have your best player make plays to put you in the best position. So, you know, it's not a secret. We're going to try to get the ball in his hands and hopefully give us some space to do some things we need to do offensively, because that will open up other things as well.
Defensively, you're facing a red-hot Arizona offense led by Dalton Sneed. That offense is starting to click with Dalton fully healthy and integrated in the offense. Your thoughts of your defense trying to slow them down? You know,
we know we're up for a challenge. You know, you got a good run game with Brooks, and like I said, with Dalton playing very well. So, you know, we got our mission cut out for us, our task set up, but we're up for that challenge. That's what you live for. You know, we're not going to buy down any team. We can't worry about another team's players. We just have to do our part to stop those players. So that's the way we're looking at it. It's a challenge we're going to take, and at the end of the night, the best team will win.
Rod, best of luck to you and your team today.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Once again, that kickoff is set for 105. And now we're going to bring in the man, the voice of the Arizona Rattlers, and the man that will be on the call for the game. That is Floyd Simmons, dear friend, and one of the most talented play-by-play voices in the country. So very fluid. It's the total handoff, and we do it so well right here from Henderson, Nevada. Floyd Simmons now on the mic. And Floyd, first off, so glad that you can join us here today. And your thoughts of the energy, the electricity for what should be a fabulous matchup.
Well, so far I can only judge that by the teams warming up on the field, right? The fans aren't here yet. They're going to file in soon, and I'm sure this place is going to be rocking when the fans get here. But, you know, I visited with the coaching staffs. I visited with these two teams. Everybody's ready to go. And they are at a high energy level already.
So when you reflect back on that 2021 United Bowl, such a physical game, and Kevin Guy alluded to the physicality and the talent that the Massachusetts Pirates bring to the table. And when you reflect back on that game and what was such a back and forth slugfest, what comes to mind?
Well, what comes to mind is that two teams, two organizations that are they make their living with physicality, and they're both going to bring that today. I think the two most physical teams in the league are on the field out here tonight. And you always, pardon me, I'm looking up here, aren't I? You always are going to give yourself that decided advantage if you're the most physical team. Who will be the most physical between these two teams out here today? I couldn't answer that question yet. I think that this is one that's going to be decided in the final 60 seconds of the game, and a part of it is going to be who at the end of the game has more reserve in the tank when it comes to that physical aspect of the game, Joe. But looking back on that game, there's something that Coach Guy, Kevin Guy, told me just a couple of days ago in a discussion, and I thought it was interesting, and that was this. Because I think that there's this unnatural but very, very much palpable rivalry between these two teams, one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast. It's not a natural rivalry at all between these two teams. But what you get with the Arizona Rattlers and the Massachusetts Pirates is something that's elevated when they play each other. There's just no love lost between them. And Coach Guy told me that what he thought it really was a rivalry between the Massachusetts Pirates and the Arizona Rattler fan base. Not so much between the two teams. When they get out there on the field, it's going to be, just like any other game, any other big championship game today between those two teams. But there's nothing special for the Rattlers about the Pirates, and nothing particularly special for the Pirates about playing the Rattlers. But I'll tell you this, the Arizona Rattler fans are excited to see the opponent today for the Rattlers, and they'd like to get some revenge and get a return win for the one that they gave up a couple of years ago.
So, Floyd, before we let you go, give us some keys in this one.
Well, some keys are this. For the Arizona Rattlers, I think, first of all, that Dalton Snead, the quarterback, has to protect the football. He can't turn the ball over. So many times over the last 3 seasons that we've been watching, as we've been involved with the Arizona Rattlers, we've seen that in big games, the Rattlers have turned the ball over a lot when it counted the most. That can't happen today. Dalton Snead, he is so much more than a game manager. You could never call him that. His toughness and his grittiness and his gaminess are going to come to the forefront today, and I think that he needs to perform at his best today. He's got to take care of the football. Both defenses, I think, Joe, are going to play great games today, and it might just come down to this. Whose defense has the better game? Which defense is able to get that critical takeaway in the final 60 seconds, get a critical stop? Which one gets the most stops, in a composite form throughout the game? I think it's going to come down to that. This is going to be a defensive game today, I would expect to see. And who brought the better defense to Vegas?
Floyd Simmons on the call at 1:05 kickoff on the CBS Sports Network. Now, the perfect handoff once again. And Floyd Simmons, a man who's covered so many sports, he knows how to hand it off, and he's going to hand it off to Coach Kevin Guy of the Arizona Rattlers, who is stepping in. And, Coach, so glad you can join us. And, Coach, for your team that's battled and persevered, the 1-3 start, there's so many injuries, the off-the-field adversity. To get to this point, what's the emotions like for you and your team?
Well, this team's got a lot of character, a lot of heart. I thought our guys, fought through it this year. We had a lot of adversity, like you said, but the character in our locker room is just tremendous, and we held it together, just kept working hard, and here we are.
And here you are, Coach, and it seemed like along the way your defense has gotten so much better throughout the year. The last 5 games, you've given up an average of 32 points. What's been the difference for your team defensively down the stretch?
I think a lot of us getting healthy. We got healthy. We've been running the same scheme for 7 years now, so we haven't changed. So the right personnel got on the field, we were able to use it, and but I think the guys too knew that we've been in the playoffs since the middle of the season, right? So we had to win out pretty much to get into the playoffs. So we had our backs against the wall, and our guys found a way.
Offensively, it seems like this has been a matter of quarters for your season. You lose Dalton, he gets integrated, still working his way back in. You've had limited time with him, but down the stretch, Coach, he's really picked up his game. The offense has really clicked. Your thoughts on this offensive unit getting better down the stretch as well?
Yeah, Dalton's a leader on and off the field, and he's been playing really well down the back stretch. It was just a matter of, it was my first year working with him. He got hurt the first half of the first game of the season. All I had was training camp with him, and he was out for 6 weeks. He came back for a game and then got hurt again in practice, missed another game. It took 3 or 4 weeks to kind of, because all these quarterbacks got different skill sets, right? And we had played 3 different quarterbacks, and every week it was somebody different. And so I was having to adjust the game plan from week to week. But once we got healthy, everything settled in, and we just got dialed in and started executing.
Coach, for you, I know you're not one to talk about accolades, but 263 wins, the all-time winningest coach in the indoor arena circuit. What does that mean to you?
It means I've had a lot of good people around me. It starts at the top with our ownership, Ron Schertz, and Ron is just great to work for. He gives us everything we need to be successful, supports us in every way possible. My coaching staff, I've had a lot of great coaches on my staff through the years, and you obviously got to have great players. I don't know how you become the all-time winningest coach if you don't have great players. So, it's been a lot of fun, a lot of run, but my focus is on the big trophy. That's what I want, and I won't even focus on any of this stuff until the end of my career. But, right now our focus is on winning the big trophy. And one thing we preach around here, it's about the team. And I'm no different. It's always about the team.
The team looking for his first championship since 2017. So let's talk about the opponent. Massachusetts, they won their playoff games, rallied from 17 down to beat Frisco, dominated Green Bay in the Eastern Conference Finals, just like how you dominated San Diego in the Western Conference Finals. Your thoughts of Massachusetts, Rod Miller, and what they bring today?
Well, Coach Miller and Jawad, they've done a great job putting a very talented football team together. They've played they started really hot coming out the gate, and then they were kind of like us in midseason, and then they got hot again at the end of the season. We played them in the championship game in 2021. It's the only time in my career that I really felt that the team that we played was more talented than we were. We've always done a great job of recruiting, but Jawad has done an exceptional job of recruiting. He's done it again this year. They got some veteran leadership at quarterback, and they're long. So it's going to be a very physical game today, and I see it being a 60-minute game.
That is Kevin Guy, the head coach of the Arizona Rattlers, looking for their 7th championship. Coach, best of luck today.
Thank you very much.
Now, Coach knows all about handing off. He's going to hand off one great coach to another. Curtis Riggs, the head coach of Sioux Falls, who will be the color analyst on today's broadcast on the CBS Sports Network. And Coach, so glad you can join us. And Coach, you've been in this situation so many times in your career. Give us kind of a sense of what both teams, players, coaches are going through right now.
Well, one, it's a sense of relief. I mean, you get through just a gauntlet of a schedule, and then you finally get to this point. You're able to breathe. You're able to breathe and think, we got the guys where they need to be. Now we need to go out and execute.
And that we talk about the execution for the Arizona Rattlers. Down the stretch, they've won 12 of their last 14. 5 in a row coming in, obliterated San Diego in the Western Conference Finals. When you look at them on tape, what stands out, Coach?
Well, I thought defensive schematics was the biggest thing. I mean, the package they put together for Nate Davis was on point. And they kept Nate from the comfortable point of where he could throw in the pocket. And that's what they're going to try to do against Bentonville, too. But defensively is where they really hung their hat in that last game.
Yeah, I tell you what, a team that's really getting better, allowing just 32 points on average in their last 5 games. And Massachusetts, all of a sudden the light bulb went on. They looked like the team that started 4-0 with the comeback win at Frisco, then obliterating Green Bay in the Eastern Conference Finals. For Alejandro Benefield and Rod Miller and that great running back at Jimmy Robinson, what are you seeing from that side of the ball?
Well, the biggest key is protecting Benefield. I mean, if they're able to protect him and allow him to have a clean pocket to throw, limit the hits on him, he'll pick you apart. They have a dynamic group of skilled guys at receiver and running back, and they're very explosive offense. So protecting and then pressure for Arizona to get to the quarterback's key.
Now, this game, a lot of people think it's going to be a close one, Coach. Both sides, they play tough, they play physical. How do you see this one going into the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think the big key is going to be who makes that crucial mistake. And it's going to be not only the kicking game, we always talk about special teams, but who makes the critical error in the fourth quarter, and it's going to be an interception that allows the offense to have an extra possession to pull away in a very tight game.
That is Curtis Riggs. He'll be the color analyst on the kickoff at 105 on the CBS Sports Network. And now we're going to bring in Jawad Yateem, the co-owner, general manager, a man who does just about everything for the Massachusetts Pirates and then some. Jawad, so good to see you.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. It's great to be here. Certainly excited for the moment, and hopefully we're ready to take advantage of it.
You talk about that, and let's talk about this year's team. Started off 4-0. You hit a little bit of a rough patch, and now here you are. What's the emotions for the players, the coaches, and for ownership right now leading up to the game?
Yeah, I mean, this season was a little bit of a roller coaster. We started extremely hot, but we kind of understood that we weren't exactly where we wanted to be, and a little bit of that had to do maybe with scheduling and whatnot. But we understood that we weren't there yet, and but the way our formula is here with the Pirates, we look for young players with high ceilings. Typically that's associated with inexperience, but experience is something that we directly control when it comes to rep allocation and getting guys certain experience at different positions. How they ingest those reps and how they ingest that experience and how they grow is on them and the staff. But we control directly who's on the field and how much playing time they get. So you're starting to see the young guys really start to kind of peak and kind of reach that ceiling that we were hoping them to reach, and it's happening at the right time, and we hope it continues through the game today.
Yeah, a couple all-IFL rookies on that first team, Jahari Branch, Guy Thomas defensively as well, Coach. And when you think about the way your team, all of a sudden, the light bulb went on at Frisco, and you've never looked back. You've played 6 dominating quarters of football. Give us kind of the mindset of this team getting ready to take on this Arizona Rattler squad today.
Real confidence isn't week to week. Real confidence is not week to week. So, regardless of the result, on a weekly basis, we fully understand what we have in that locker room and what we're capable of, and we never waver from that. So, the confidence with us is real, and it translates, to what we do on the field. And these guys are ready, man. We're a confident group, but we understand what's on the other side there. We understand, how well Kevin runs his organization and how well prepared those players are and the kind of energy that they're going to come out with. But yeah, we're ready. We're confident. We're ready to go. We're well prepared. We've worked hard, and you should see a pretty competitive game today.
And what about this rivalry? Both teams located on different parts of the coast, but it still seems that when these two teams together, the fan bases, a lot of talk, a lot of chatter, a lot of build-up between these two organizations coming into this one.
Yeah, we've had some heated moments, between the organizations. It started back in 2021, and we certainly, have a very strong mutual respect for one another. But at the same time, I think we want to kind of, tear each other's heads apart a little bit, and not necessarily embarrass the other team, but we want to, we really want to bring it to them. That's our goal, and that's their goal too. But that's kind of the foundation of a rivalry is emotion, right? Because without emotion, is there really a rivalry there? Is there any, I guess where does that, motivation come from? To really want to compete, against one another. But, the emotion is there with us, and we really, we're excited to be playing against them. And great wants to play against great, and great wants to compete against great. And, we feel like that's what we're getting today.
Jawad, best of luck to you and your team.
Thank you very much.
Kickoff set for 105. Should be a great one between two Titans right here in the IFL. Now, along the way, the IFL has built so many great partnerships to help strengthen the league and grow the brand. And one of those is Build Your Base.
Game time. The IFL and Build Your Base are back in your communities in 2024. Build Your Base has prepared our teams to bring fun and excitement to the youth in our communities, along with priceless lessons about good nutrition and the importance of staying active. With Build Your Base, our goal is to instill healthy lifestyle principles early in life so they can carry these lessons with them as they grow. Learn more about Build Your Base at buildyourbase.org.
And we are joined by Suzanne Geppert, who's located in South Dakota, Executive Director of the Build Your Base program. And Suzanne, such a great initiative to help inform those young athletes about conditioning and nutrition. Give us the origin of Build Your Base.
The Build Your Base program originated in 2017 as a collaborative partnership between Sanford Sports, Sanford Health, and the South Dakota Beef Industry Council. It was truly presented as a way to address not only obesity, but hydration and protein deficiency that we're starting to see in young athletes across the U.S.
And Suzanne, this is such a great initiative. How important is it to let those young athletes of tomorrow, to let them know it's not just about working out, but just to be on point with their nutrition so they can continue to excel?
It's huge. You know, it's something that not only the athletes need to think about, but their families need to think about. This initiative was really driven as part of the IFL's initiative to really go out in their communities, to make a difference, to work with their families, and to really become those strong leaders that so many of our young athletes need. And if they can do that with a nutrition message, what a better route to take.
And Suzanne, can you kind of give us an idea of the initiatives that take place all across the country for Build Your Brand, I should say, and the IFL working together?
So Build Your Base is actually a national program that exists in high schools, colleges, pro sports across the U.S., but with the IFL significantly, they really wanted to sit down with us and develop an outreach toolkit that they could really take into schools, after school clubs, just even some of their camps. And so we sat down with them last fall and we really started to develop the program, and now they're delivering it for us and for themselves across the United States.
That's great. And Suzanne, quickly, your thoughts of the organization working with the IFL and just continuing to be successful and helping the young athletes of tomorrow?
You know, I think it's really important that we continue this relationship. As Coach Guy said earlier, it's really about the people that you surround yourself with. And I really believe the IFL partnership has not only been strong as far as delivering that health and nutrition message, but I also think it's been a strong message in just sharing that message of where our food comes from and the role that it plays on the plate of not only an athlete, but the families across the U.S.
Suzanne Geppert, the Executive Director of Build Your Base from South Dakota. Suzanne, we appreciate your time. Best of luck going forward, and thanks for all you do for all those great young athletes out there.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And now we are joined by the Commissioner of the IFL, Mr. Todd Tryon, who just got inducted into the IFL Hall of Fame last night. And Coach, what did that mean to you? And I say Coach because one time he was a player for Sioux Falls. He coached, he was an owner, part of so many championships. So when you got inducted, your name was going into the Ring of Honor for the Hall of Fame and the IFL coach and player and owner. What does that mean for you, Commish?
You know, it's always appreciation. I mean, anytime somebody recognizes you for, succeeding in areas, it's appreciative. And, you can't succeed in anything in life unless you're surrounded with great people. And that was what it was in Sioux Falls. We had a great supporting cast from family to staff to friends to fans to sponsors. And, ultimately you're able to build a championship product with that.
And along the way, there were two other inductees as well. And I know you know those players well. Give us a little bit of insight on those two gentlemen that are joining you in the Hall.
Houston Lillard, he was a quarterback up there in Tri-Cities, and he had a really good run from 2011 through 2014. An injury sidelined him and kind of ended his career a gruesome broken leg of all things. But in 2012 and 2013, Tri-Cities, they were tough, and they came to Sioux Falls both games and for the championship, and thankfully it was in Sioux Falls, or we'd have had our hands full. But great quarterback, great man. He's got 4 kids and building business out there in Portland. And then Clinton Solomon. It's always fun to hear these players' journey and their stories. And Clinton was somebody that I had an opportunity to recruit to Sioux Falls to play with us for a couple years, but went to University of Iowa and then got 3 years in the NFL through some camps, and then ended up sprinkling or trickling his way into our league. But another great story. He's currently a head coach in another league right now, and it's just fun to hear their stories.
And Coach, quickly, Commish, if you can, just talk about the build-up for this game and what you're expecting today.
The build-up, it's been exciting. It's been an exciting year. We've just completed 134 games, and this is the granddaddy of them all. And midway through the season, these are about the last 2 teams you'd have picked to get in here. And what's crazy about the IFL is the roster size is only 25. And with a 16-game season and now your playoff 18 games, it pays to be healthy late. And that's kind of what happened with both these 2 teams is they got healthy late, they got hot late, and they made a little run, and here they are. And so I expect it's going to be a physical game. These are 2 big, talented teams heading off, and it's
My dad used to always say 2 bulls on a bridge, and I think that's what we're going to have here today.
There you go. That is Commissioner Todd Tryon. And, of course, the kickoff set for 105 on the CBS Sports Network. Floyd Simmons and Curtis Riggs on the call. It's Championship Saturday in the IFL National Championship between 2 juggernauts, the Arizona Rattlers and the Massachusetts Pirates. Stick and stay. Championship Saturday, indoor style. More to come from Henderson, Nevada.